I am Spiff the Ice King, and I am still talking about Nightmare in the Ozarks, which the second film I saw there was called Tribe. This is a found footage, sci-fi, horror adjacent film, and if that sounds like too much for one movie, you'd be correct. But before I get into it, let me just talk for a second. This film is by a man named Dan Asma. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but he got sick before the Q&A, so I'm just going to apologize here. And I think him getting sick was kind of a blessing in disguise, because I'm not sure how accepting this whole crowd was of the use of AI in this movie. Now, as someone who has used AI in the past in my videos, this avatar is AI. I'm obviously not totally against the use of it. I think that there is a world of difference between making silly little videos for free about movies and trying to take something to a festival to get tummy rubs and potentially some money. I know AI is wrong and I hate that I use it, but this is the world that I currently live in, and I'm just doing my best to get something started here. Anyway, I try to look past the usage of AI and do my best to judge it based on it being a movie. You know, story, visuals, things like that. Essentially everything that's not AI. I'll take that segue to move on to the story, which is a big ol' miss. It starts with a fairly simple movie about some guy researching a cult, and we don't stop layering on complexity until we reach an Interstellar for Morons style fourth dimension bullshit. This one's tough. See, I don't want to go beat by beat and spoil the entire movie, like I never do that, but I especially don't want to do it in these quick 5-minute or less style reviews that I'm trying to do for Nightmare in the Ozarks. However, explaining why this movie is bad is almost impossible without just digging right into the plot. You see, I find myself wanting to be more generous to this thing because it is low budget, and I feel like this might have had the lowest budget of any of the feature films. But with huge sections of it that are just drone footage, or what seemed like some kind of commercial for a side-by-side, it really can't be. And it also doesn't help that this movie can't seem to pace itself for shit. It's particularly upsetting since there is a gigantic date stamped at the bottom for obnoxiously long periods of time. You see, the whole thing is structured like his video diary. Like, he's still supposed to be researching this cult, and slowly we're uncovering that it's actually aliens that are Prometheus-style chariot of the gods type of thing. Because he's supposed to be discovering that these aliens were like the original humans or whatever, and they're trying to come back to reclaim the earth or something, and it really just kind of loses its own plot about 3/4 of the way through it. And any intrigue that I had built up was immediately thwarted once I saw the exposition scene in the middle where the movie just stops dead to basically read as a book. It's insufferable how dumb this movie thinks that we all are. Or maybe it just thinks that it's smart. I don't know. It's almost impossible to tell. Moving on from what is incoherent rambling about the story, I also need to point out that the acting is inconsistent as hell. The same actors will be very convincing in one scene and then be a completely different character the next time they come up. And this isn't set up in the plot. This is just inconsistent acting and what I suspect to be inconsistent directing. The film also leaves a bunch of plot points dangling, and we never actually see a conclusion to several of them. I specifically want to call out the ex-wife of the researcher. Like, there's obviously some kind of feelings left over that are displayed throughout the film, but then at one point she just kind of leaves his house and says she'll call him tomorrow, and then nothing ever follows up with that. Like, she literally just drops off the face of the film, and we get into fourth dimensional fucking interstellar bullshit. Sorry for the kind of stream of consciousness bullshit that I'm doing here, but these videos are very poorly structured and I'm just trying to get as many out as I can. However, I do feel the need to point out that even though not everything was AI generated, the CGI stuff really didn't look all that impressive. Like I said, I assume that this had the lowest budget of all of them, because there's no named actors really, there's no recognizable money shot type of things, but I think that the visuals in this were really kind of bad. Like almost the worst of the whole festival, I would think. I'd have to rewatch it, but then I'd have to rewatch it, and that sounds like fucking torture. I also feel the need to point out that in lieu of the empty space that was the Q&A that the director couldn't show up for because he got sick, the presenter opted to do like an audience reaction type of thing. And I'm so glad that he didn't actually call on me, because I did not have a lot to say that was good about this movie. And I feel like my negative energy would have definitely been unwelcomed in this space. I'm also a little worried that somebody from the festival might stumble upon this video at some point and try to point out and say that I just didn't get it or something. And listen, I just don't want to put more effort than the writers did into this thing, because anything that was in the script feels like it could have been explained as just, oh, it was alien magic. And I do not accept that as an explanation for huge plot holes. So as it stands right now, this is going at the very bottom of my list. Not that I'm making a list, but this is the worst of the festival in my opinion that I saw, keeping in mind I wasn't there for more than a day. But I would definitely recommend that you skip this movie if you ever see it on streaming or something like that. But if you do want to see more AI slop, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe and stick around, because I'm hoping to get more of these videos out as soon as possible. Until then, sayonara, bitches.